Okay. Hello, one and all. Thanks for joining us. We're your host. I'm Uchoose. That's Inka. And welcome to _her story, _his story. Quick disclaimer before we get into the good stuff. This is an opinion-based broadcast. Let's all be sure to follow the community guidelines set forth by this platform. The last thing we want is for your account to be negatively affected by anything you say here on our show tonight. We might not always agree, but we can always respectfully disagree. Let's have respect for everyone's opinions and contributions. We're here to engage in fun, adult, interesting conversations. So grab a drink, sit back, get comfortable, and let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk
Nene.
about it. All right.
All right, so tell good people what we talking about tonight.
The topic tonight is the topic that for the last week, I'm pretty sure everybody in the world has heard. Roe versus Wade has been overturned in a lot of the states of the United States of America. What this means is that women's right to choose whether they want to, proceed with giving life or terminate it at whatever stage it is with their body, they no longer are legally allowed to. There's been propaganda behind it. I've seen a video where one of these politicians congratulated Trump on a win for white life. I mean,
they're gonna say it was a slip up.
So we're here to talk about it, see how we feel about it. Maybe find a solution. Maybe we find a solution. Who knows? Or maybe a solution, because this is a crazy thing that has happened in America. Kind of lets you remember, like, yo, listen, they own you still. If COVID, when they try to force the vaccines down everybody's throat, ain't let you know. Now they really letting you know, like, yo, listen, y'all, that was just the beginning. We getting ready to take everything away. So, as a woman, I'll let you take the floor first.
Oh, chivalry is not dead, huh? Okay.
Not in my book.
How can I say this? Oh, God. I think a lot of times when these big things happen, as much as people focus on, how's it going to affect the world, I tend to pay more attention to how it's going to affect me. I know that sounds weird and selfish, but I want to say crew and the people I'm familiar with, I don't know that this is one of those things where we were on the edge of our seat, holding our breath, waiting to find out what the agenda is. No shade, but most of the people my age, we're not even thinking about it. I think about it. We're being preventative, for the most part. I know that I should have bought stock in Plan B and Trojan like a few days ago. I know that, but I just feel like, and I know it's gonna come off not seeming like I care. I do care, but I just feel like I'm not against it as long as the guidelines are not super restrictive, if that makes sense. Like, I'm pro-choice, but I do feel like there's a limit to the pro-choice, if that makes any sense. I don't think you should wait until you're 5 months pregnant. If it's not medically necessary, you done had a whole lot of time. You know what I'm saying? To think about what it is, it's not like, oh, I caught it before it actually turned into a fetus or whatever, because there's so many stages. People like to say it's human once it's conceived. Well, that's not true, because there's actually laws in the United States in the medical field that if a baby is born before a certain gestational time, they will not perform life-saving measures. because their concept is it's not going to work, you know? And I don't want to misquote, but I think it's like right around that 21 week. Like if you're supposed to go all the way to 40 weeks, and you know, they say between 38 and 40, you're good to go. If you prematurely deliver and the baby's like 21 weeks or whatever week it is, Melanated is saying it's 24, they won't even try to like put the baby on any kind of incubator and stuff like that. So how, you know, are you so pro-life, but you aren't changing those kind of regulations? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, where this is actually formed, nails and hair and organs, and you know what I'm saying? We can do things on our end, but you tell someone, oh, life starts at conception, and then you impose your beliefs. I feel like it should all be based medically, scientifically. It should not be based on who you think God is and what a book that you believe in should impose on other people. And that's where it really boils down to. This is a big win for Christians, but I think there's no middle ground sometimes. You know what I mean? And that's where they lose me. That's where they lose me. So.
Okay, before I jump in there,
great.
Before I jump in there and start to press you on some things, let me read some of the comments.
I didn't know that's what we were doing now.
No, that's not. It just came out like that. He said, I think it's about population and keeping the majority. Melanated said, I think it's 24 weeks, and 21 is my second guess. And Glamazon said yes. Okay, so first, let me get this out of the way and say I am also pro-choice. And I'm a Christian as well. I am also pro-choice. I feel like, you know, it's always been from I've been alive, you know, because it was illegal before, but since I've been alive, it's always been the woman's choice to, you know, decide whether she's ready for maternal duties. You know, it's her body that's going through this whole cycle. It's her that's going to have to go through this whole experience of feeling something growing inside of her and pushing it out or getting it cut out when the time is right. You know, it's her that's going to have to deal with all of the hormones and everything like that. So I understand. I honestly feel that it should be the female's choice. Let me get that out the way. Now, with this being said, I honestly don't feel that this decision that the government made had anything to do with preserving life. I don't think it had anything to do with religion. I feel it's more part of their plan in showing that they are taking away our rights and our freedom of thought and freedom of choice in this country, slowly but surely. Little things from since 9/11, this is what I've been seeing from since 9/11, they've used fear to slowly take away things that we were free to do. Slowly take away things that we were free to roam around, free to just be ourselves. The freedom in America, slowly they're trying to show you that it is not free no matter what, no matter who you are. You know what I'm saying? When COVID came, they started forcing in certain areas, had curfews. Like, you know, if I'm outside at 10 and everybody's in the house, how is that a hazard? Why is there a curfew? You understand what I'm trying to say? They're basically just slowly taking away your rights. They had the stop and frisk at one point was if they feel like you look dangerous, hey, let me stop and check your bag. You look like you got something in your bag. You know, just freedom to walk around. Your freedom to do a lot of things. I feel that slowly and surely they're trying to minimize it because they want everybody to stay away from each other. It's easier to control people when everybody's in a box. House, apartment, studio, wherever you live, the box.
Listen, can I ask you? I don't mean to interrupt.
Yes,
I just want to know how far down this conspiracy theory rabbit hole we going.
Oh, no.
It feels like a whole other thing, and I get
No.
the dots. But listen,
No. I'm just saying this is what I feel about this decision. I don't feel that it has anything to do with a woman's body. You know,
I don't think that the census being taken in that time contributed to it. Just reading some of the comments, and it's also a part of the belief that I had that they do the math. Everybody's done the math. We did the math years ago when they realized that Spanish will soon dominate language here. More people will be speaking Spanish than English. That is the assumption made, or the calculation made, or the prediction made. I can't give you the year. I can't remember. I just remember the last time they did the census, that was the big scare. And I have realized that on trend, I see commercials on English network channels that has no translation. I just sit through a Spanish commercial, and that's a little different for me. That's different. You know what I'm saying? I've only experienced that going out of the country. But to be here and hear a whole commercial in Spanish, a language that was not the dominating language, is not necessarily, quote unquote, the language of the land, it was very strange for me to see that and hear that. And then I realized this is what they were predicting. So I do feel like I saw someone do the calculations. Abortion only affects 0.003% of the population, period.
Right.
Majority of that happen to be Caucasian women.
Right.
Based on the numbers and how they calculate it, and like I said, I haven't done the math myself, just putting out there different predictions that, you know, have been put out there. Something that affects 0.003% of the population, to me, doesn't exactly give me y'all trying to control us vibes. I'm on board with everything you were saying before, with the fear, with this, with the that. I think that such a small portion of the population doesn't give me curfew. It doesn't give me things to the magnitude of the other things you're saying. That's why I agree with you to a certain point, but I also feel like the numbers for, you know, curfew and COVID and mask and, you know, the vaccine, things like that, that was on such a high scale that affected more than half of the country. Let's not talk about the world. Right.
Right.
So this, like I said, going back to and that's just the population of women.
Right.
It's not the population of humans in the United States. That
right.
0.003, that's just of women.
Of women. Right.
That means you would have to find X amount of women. Don't think because, you know, in a confined inner city and 100 women, you can probably get 20, 30, I'm just throwing out numbers, who maybe had an abortion or, you know, taken the pill or whatever the case may be, that they're saying, well, let's talk about just the actual procedure of the abortion. We have a whole country. We have a lot of rural neighborhoods. We have a lot of small towns where that's not common. So I think sometimes when we think, oh, out of 100 women, you're not likely to, you may find 3 who've had, you know what I'm saying, the procedure done. Keep adding hundreds and hundreds. That number doesn't go up significantly. So I don't know why it's such a focus for the Supreme Court, and, you know, in all honesty. But tracking back to what you said, it's more about the headline. It's more about people telling you what you can do, can't do,
that's what I was getting
what you should do, and stuff like that. But I do think there's a certain level of fear from Caucasian people that they've done the math. They've done the predictions. If we continue to go at the rate we're going, we're not going to be the majority anymore. So now you can't call anybody minority when you're the minority. You know what I mean? People of color will be the majority. That was only a matter of time honestly, if you think about it, anywhere where you start to merge different cultures, races, all these things, you're going to start getting more of a melting pot. And that's what people used to like about New York. Now it's the whole country. They don't like it so much. They like their neighborhood being theirs, ours being ours, and they love, you know, a certain point of a certain part of the separation. But they realize we low-key gaining on their ass, and I think it's very disturbing for them, and it strikes fear. So they've put together this plan of Trump making sure, you know, the conservative get people in place to change things. But I don't know how much that's actually going to help them. Like, I think their population is not down due to them having so many abortions. I think it has more to do with people, just the evolution of people. Women are having more birth issues, infertility issues than ever before. I think it has a lot to do with our diet, our exercise habits, the food we eat, stuff like that. I think those things contribute. But we have the most fertility issues that we've had in the history of people. You know what I mean? So I also think it's women having children later in life. I think it's people having less children. Like, all these things, I think, is what's contributing to their decline. I don't think it's abortion. So then, you know, banning this, I really feel like in 10, 20 years, they're going to be like that. Well, that didn't do anything. Because I don't feel like that's where their real problem is. I agree with you to a certain level. It's a control thing and a fear thing. But I don't feel like they're validated in what they think it's going to do.
Where I was trying to go with is basically trying to say is that when you open the door a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And this is what they're doing. They're opening the door a little bit. Like you said, it's a fear of, they feel that they're going to be the minority. They, you know what I'm saying? All of those things that you mentioned, which I agree on. So to take these precautions, you can't just slam open the door because you see the small things people are going to go crazy for. So just imagine the big things, you know what I'm saying? So they slowly have the door ajar. Let's start here. Something that's going to affect not that many people. Guys are going to feel away, not really have to feel away about it because it's really not affecting guys almost at all. You know what I'm saying? Other than the fact that you might get caught up in a situation where now you end up paying child support or having to be a father when you wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, you know, it's not going to really affect guys as much as it's really going to affect the women. So it's a small start to where they want to go. But what you said is this, right? Spanish, going to be popular. Even with this Roe versus Wade overturn, that's still going to be what that's not going to slow anything down.
Exactly.
Like, I know Spanish people, they love making babies. You know what I'm saying?
They haven't changed too much of their trend.
Yeah.
Why? You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of us black girls, we like to take it like a us thing, but I don't want to say it's not the trend, or maybe it just was when I was younger. It seemed to be kind of like, a couple of girls or whatever the case may be. As you get older, you maybe know less of those girls or don't know them from back then when maybe they may have been a little more reckless or whatever. But as you get older, you become more cautious, careful, or you accept responsibility because you're in a better place in your life and you can handle certain things. But I don't feel like it's going to affect blue states as much as it affects red states. Mm-hmm. And I feel like people going to find a way until something has to change. It was the same with weed. You could not smoke weed back in the day. Just the other day. And now it's big business. You know what I'm saying? Right. You couldn't stop people. Like, I know mother lovers who've been smoking since the 70s. and in the 80s, and in the 90s and 2000s. And guess what? It's always been illegal. Now it's legal. I don't know. It's not on trend anymore, I guess, as much. Whereas before it was like, oh, you a bad boy, you smoking weed. Now it's like, yeah, everybody smoke weed. So it's not a thing where they just had to change the rule. I feel the same with abortion. I feel like it's going to start affecting them. And when I say them, I hope we know who I'm talking about. When it becomes a problem for them, then they will fix it. Just like they now if you're on drugs, you have a mental issue and you need assistance. When it was crack, you need to be thrown in jail. Where was the rehab then? When, you know what I'm saying? When weed wasn't great for, them, everybody was getting, arrested for it, and oh, it's illegal, and you're serving time for it. All of a sudden, they decided that it's good for them. Oh, look at all the benefits. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm half Jamaican. We've always heard, oh, the ganja is good for this and that. You know what I'm saying? So once they start, unfortunately, I don't mean to put it out there, but once they start feeling the repercussions of it and potentially losing their lives for getting illegal ones done and unhealthy, unsafe ones done, then it's going to be like, oh my God, what a, catastrophe. We have to do something about this. And what the plan was will have backfired, bite them in the ass, and here we will be in the future talking about did you see that they overturned the overturn? It's just a cycle.
Let me read some of these comments. So Chini said, exactly, we got 26 and a half years to get the population up, the whole world. Glamazon said the child rate went down by 20%. Melanated said, now we're in competition. Get ready to sex and procreate it up. Word up.
I'm doing my part.
I'm done though. I'm DUN done.
When you added 3, 4 to the population, what'd you do?
Right. Trini said, I think they are losing too many to drugs in the mid. They don't care about who else is losing to drugs and guns. But when it starts that too many of them, then it's out. Yep, a problem, yeah.
Yep.
Melanated said, people are going to find a way to get rid of their pregnancy if they don't want it. Yeah, listen, I'll get into that. That's where I was going to go. Yeah, exactly. They become unsafe. Glamazon says, ceiling color people. All right.
You know
a lot of them are young ceiling color.
What about ceiling black?
Ceiling colored daughters will be out here getting the basement specials. Yes, exactly. So no, seriously, by doing this, and I actually saw a documentary about this, watching it this week, because a lot of people has been in my inbox. I've seen a lot of stories and things like that, and been talking to people and things like that. I seen a documentary. An older lady, she got an abortion right before it was legalized. So obviously, this is a long time ago, right? I think it was like a month or a couple of weeks before they actually legalized it. And she had got one of those backdoor, that's what I'll call it, a backdoor abortion. And she said the guy was abrupt. It was just horrible. There was blood everywhere. It was just a mess, And I think that's what is going to end up happening. It's going to end up going back to when people really don't want it. There's going to be someone with the deal. There's going to be someone who's like, yo, I got that stuff that you can walk around with. The same way they was doing it before. They'd be like, yo, I got the hookup. Holla at me. Quick little 500 or a quick little stack of get you out of that situation and nobody has to know. Or like some of the states, like California said, that they're not going to legalize that at all. And it's always going to be legal in California. And for people in states that can't do it, or it's illegal in your state, you can travel here and we won't say a word. Even though those...
I think that's the way it has to happen.
Back here, we're gonna lock your ass up if we find out that's what you went to Cali for. So I mean, it's gonna be putting a lot of people in a lot of crazy situations and in a lot of desperate situations too. But
And desperate people do desperate things.
Desperate things, you know. But like you said, when one of their daughters, when one of these politicians' daughters go to these back doors because they can't tell their mom, you know, their mom voted for it or their dad voted for it. They can't bring it to the family because if the family finds out that they're over here sneaking it, that's going to be their whole thing down the drain. You know, so they're going to go do this back door and it's going to go wrong. It's going to go left. And that's when they're going to realize, like, yo, this really should have been done in a professional way. And we should have really made it available. You know, like.
But tragedy has to hit first. It has to be like an epidemic of some sort before it can go. I see Miss Robia put same way with the BBLs. I want you to elaborate on that. So I don't know if you want to call in. I just want you to make the correlation between the two. No, Nene did not date herself. Talk about some Macy Gray Brewster's Place special. You gotta be our age to remember that.
Yeah. Yo, my goodness, the great.
Yo, they get the early morning specials. I seen a man on TikTok talking about it. I don't know what that is, but please feel free to call in if you want to explain it to us, because I don't know what that is. But I mean, on the other side of it, I hope that for the women who this will really affect, because I believe there are going to be states that ain't paying that nonsense any mind.
Yeah.
But I hope that for the women that wouldn't have access or young girls scared, I hope this creates a certain level of awareness for themselves and responsibility for themselves. If you know that there's no quick fix, hopefully it's something that will make you think twice, make you extra cautious, make you say no if he say he don't got no condom, or or whatever the case is.
Put it in your mouth. No.
I hope. What'd you say? I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear you because I feel like you were saying something inappropriate.
I say that I gotta put it somewhere else if you can't go in it.
I feel like I know what you said, but you know what? I know you found joy in repeating it.
Not in the same words though.
Close enough. I feel like we could all figure that out. But yeah, I feel like I hope that does happen because, you know, states along that what's it called? The Bible Belt? Is that what it is?
I think so. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, where it's like they're super religious and full of BS because they have like most.
I mean, look, you know those people, especially the ones that's extremely hard on it. We know behind the closed doors how they're really living.
I know the reasoning behind it is that's not, you know, what God wants, right? But I feel like where does that concern and sympathy and almost overbearing concern and stuff, where does that go once the baby's born? Hey, give me one second. Because you know what the problem is? The problem is once you have the baby, they kind of don't care anymore. You get what I'm saying? Like, once you have the baby, you're like, oh my God, I was in this thing, and you guys said I couldn't, you know, abort, and now here's this baby, and I'm not making enough, and this is what I was afraid of. I need help. The same conservative, Republicans, whatever, are the same ones who are like, good luck, figure it out. You had the baby. That's your decision. That's what you have to now. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who vote against all kinds of assistance and programs and vouchers and all the things that help women once the pregnancy is no longer pregnancy and it's an actual human. Mm-hmm. How are you more concerned before it can breathe its own air than when it becomes hungry and mom can't, you know, provide.
The military getting hungry. They need soldiers from babies. I say. Now go ahead, Ms. Robia. Let us know how this correlation with BBLs.
Oh,
So, so it's not necessarily a correlation. It's more about desperation, honestly. So there are a lot of people out there, and they've even done documentaries about people so desperate to get these cosmetic surgeries that they're going through the back doors, and you're seeing individuals from LGBTQ and even just heterosexual individuals that are so desperate for these surgeries, and they're doing these backdoor deals, and you do see it pop up in the paper where it's, oh, this one was so desperate to get their body done, they went and they got cement plugged into them, and now they're suffering from all of these things. It's going to happen with the abortions. We're going to start seeing it more and more in the newspaper. This was done wrong. This person hemorrhaged out. This person had such a bad experience and all these other things. And as said before, it's not until the individuals that are in power, until it happens to one of their own, before it's a case of, okay, this needs to get addressed. Honestly, we can possibly see thousands of women seriously getting hurt from these backdoor procedures, unfortunately.
I feel I understand what you're saying. I think where I would just differ a little is, one is cosmetic.
It's cosmetic, right?
But I will say it's also an us problem. If you get that, you do not see a whole lot of what she call it, ceiling color people. You do not see that as an ongoing trend in their community. They're not concerned. You will never see that go up before Supreme Court until they decide that that's appealing for them as well, and then they start partaking. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, definitely.
As much as that is like a hot spot, and listen, the market's flooded.
It is.
The market's flooded with Donkey Kong at the moment. That's not their problem. That's kind of like a us problem. And so when would that ever be addressed? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's never going to be the hot topic at their breakfast table. You know what I mean? Like,
right. It's more specifically in line with the levels. So in our circle community, we see this weird desperation to get these BBLs done and all these other different things. And of course, it opens up this black market for individuals. It really is going to get very bad. Yeah. It's going to get so bad.
But it needs to for it to get good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's definitely going to be the situation.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a lot of medical reviews, a lot of feet pounding, and honestly, it may not, because conservative individuals have been pursuing this for at least 50 years. It took them 50 years. So
listen, they're playing chess while we're playing checkers. It's real.
Exactly.
It's real. It's real. And one is not afraid to sacrifice themselves for the greater good of the whole. We need to start adapting that mentality.
The question always remains is, how many people are actually in it for the long haul? That's what's always going to be the question.
Well, you know, when it comes to things like this, especially when it's so fresh, everybody's going to be loud about it. Not everybody, but the majority of people is going to be definitely loud about it. Everybody's going to have their opinions. You know, the ones that are for it, they're going to be like, oh, yes, we won. And the one that's against it is going to be like, oh, they're trying to kill me. You know, but what it comes down to, really what it comes down to is the fact that this was something that it was for your own free will. It was something where you was able to say, it's my body. it is my body, and this is my decision. I talk to my doctors, I talk to my mental people, and this is how I feel. There's some people, like some women, when they get pregnant, they get extremely depressed. Like they want to kill themselves. You know, forcing that on somebody, you're gonna create, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a black or brown person. This could be anybody.
Right, anyone.
You know,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And
let's not even talk about cases of incest and rape that they want to challenge and want to say it's God's plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, how extreme are you? That's
you know, like, yo, this person
terrorism.
is growing something that's gonna keep reminding them of that pain, of that hate. Like, you know,
Yes.
and this is what you're trying to do to somebody's mental. Like, how is that person gonna be any type of parent?
After
you know,
already going through a trauma, you're going to re-traumatize them and continue to have them. But you know what? I hate to say it. Some of the ones who pushing for it are some of the ones imposing some of the pain. There's so many cases of church youngins being abused by the leaders of it. So of course their agenda is, oh well, if you do, you do, and deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a lot. It's just a lot. I hope that people
this whole
take
story
from this
reminds me of that this other documentary I was watching where this doctor, insemination doctor. I forgot. I think. Oh, dang, what's the name of this series? Anyway,
did he inseminate a whole bunch of women?
Yo,
listen, I'm the documentary queen. I watched that sucker
with his own semen. Even people who came in with their husbands he inseminated them with his. And this dude was big in the church. This dude was big in his community. You know, but he inseminated them. And when I was looking at this, and I'm like, yo, in a way, it's not rape, but this is some type of form of rape. Like,
it is. It is.
It's a form of rape.
Think about it this way, too. A woman is going to love her child, right?
Right.
I'm not saying a man is not, but that's that woman's child.
Right.
Imagine this is your husband's only chance, last chance, or happened 20 years ago, and now you can't have any more children, and you find that out. Your husband having no kids.
And they took him to court, though. They took him to court and found him not guilty of anything.
I'm sure he would be happy with the decision. I'm sure he's one of those people that would be happy with the decision. You know what I'm saying? That's where...
Yeah, no, seriously. So when I saw that and then I'm hearing this, I'm just like, yo, like, this government is...
Too many things go hand in hand.
Yeah, this government is on something different. Like, this dude, his number right now is 90-something and counting. And this is just for the people that found out. Like, they're the ones that's coming out. There's going to be people that's not going to, like, they don't even... I'm not even going to say nothing. I don't even... He can't even hear this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just gonna have to
imagine the kids who grew up, or, you know, maybe their mom passed or something like that, who never even knew that that's how they were conceived.
Created.
Most people won't go around telling their kids that. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, oh, I'm going around my whole life wondering why I don't look like mom or dad. Nobody got
generational sicknesses and all of that from the dude. Yeah.
God, people
but
are
I'm just saying,
crazy.
But a decision like this now, right? It kind of like it goes hand in hand with letting you see the way this government thinks. Let me read some of these comments real quick. So East Coast Nipsey said,
they mostly Miss Rovia.
East Coast Nipsey said, against the abortions, however, I feel women should have the option to make the decision in regards to their bodies. And that situation may have led to their pregnancy. Also, impose harsher penalties to rapists because they get so much slack while young black men face more time for way lesser crimes. That's my thought. Got you, B.
I have seen rapists get more time than murderers.
I know. It's I feel it depends on the person, you know.
Yeah, but, that's true.
You know, So what it is too, this decision being the fact that it's not going to really harm us because, like I said, we're kind of up there in age, and me personally,
it's not an old people problem.
Yeah, I'm not kind of done. I'm done. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm grandpa. I'm not trying to go through that cycle of changing Pampers. I want to be able to pass the baby like, oh, the baby needs to be changed. Like, you know.
Listen, I have a 2-year-old, so it's been some heavy negotiations going on over here.
Yeah,
like, if it's gonna happen,
yeah, I did it last
gotta
time.
happen now.
I did it last time. No, you don't remember the last time. You know, so
there's some heavy negotiations going under the roof.
But,
my thing is, if it happened, it gotta happen now. So that's not something that is in my realm of thought. You know what I'm saying?
So right. But you see what's going to happen with the younger generation now, the generations that's coming up, the generations that's now learning sex, now learning, you know, these parts of their bodies and these interactions and things like that. They're the ones that are really gonna have the pressure because they're the ones, like, you know, they're figuring it out like we used to figure it out. You know, they're the ones that are even more rebellious, I feel, than we were. And we were rebellious as hell, but I feel even these younger ones are even more rebellious. So it's gonna put them in a situation where it's gonna be dangerous out here. And us as adults and us as parents and us as the older generation, we have to, you know, talk to these youth and, you know, let our children know what's real when it comes to these, you know, reproductive and this sexual energies when people meet, because the temptation is realer than the mug.
I have two things. One, good Lord, I'm getting old. I forgot the one.
It's okay.
Two.
It's okay.
Two. Okay. So I see East Coast Nipsey put no abortions may mean more black, brown men to be on child support, which may be a great government tactic. I feel like when things like that are said, you're completely obliterating black and brown men for being responsible for their children and responsible for their sexual activity. As a man, if you know this is not something you want to do or a position you want to potentially find yourself in, please stop blaming everybody else except your penis and your sperm. Like that's on you. That's totally on you. I'm just saying, you cannot, because then it comes back to, the government. No, there's a lot of things that happen in the black home that are not okay. Let's start there. And it can't just fall on the shoulders of black women, because yes, there are single black fathers out there. There are more single mothers. There's a reason. You get what I'm saying? There's a reason, because it's been taught to us through society that it's okay if things don't work out for the man to easily exit stage left, and then on occasion or at his leisure, return to the home to partake in the upbringing of his children. Is that every situation? Absolutely not. We're not going to play that game.
Right.
And no, don't tell me no BS about it goes both ways. If it went both ways, the numbers would be in your favor as well, and they're not. You're taking your own personal situation and you're making a society thing, and it's not. Let's stop sugarcoating the bullshit, because that's
what it is, though.
I'm sugarcoating it.
I feel the reason that society has created this is because the baby does grow inside of the mom. Like there is like at that point, that's a connection that is disconnected from the man, even if he's present through the whole entire pregnancy. It's still a disconnection between the guy and the baby, because it's literally growing inside of her. And she's literally never apart from this person growing inside of her during this time period. So I feel that they have associated that with after the birth. You know, it
is very important. No, I never said no. It is very important. But what has become very easy for people to do is once that relationship is not a functioning beneficial relationship for both parties, it has become easier for men to step away and stay away.
Right.
You have to step away and you want to leave the child with the mother in those earlier formative years. Yes, they say it's more beneficial, it's more nurturing, women, blah, blah, blah. I've seen women that aren't as nurturing and men who are more nurturing. But let's talk on the grand scale of things. It has become easier for people to step away and then partake when it's convenient, and not so much as an obligation. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it happens more likely than it happens the other way around. Let's just be honest about that. You know what I'm saying? Let's just not find the one guy, you know, who does all he's supposed, and the baby mother is just this. More times than not, that's not the situation. So let's stop creating this false, fake narrative that, oh, she's just being difficult, and that most of the time is not the case. It happens sometimes, absolutely. Sometimes the reaction is what gets pinned on the woman. Why? Because it's a reaction to an action. The action is what sometimes men don't want to own. That's my point.
Yes and no.
You're going to talk from of course you're going to talk from a history.
I have to. This is his story.
Yeah, but that's not the majority.
It is. No. Hold on. You don't know where I'm going with it. You got to hear it.
We're not going to talk about your 4 friends and your
no, we're not. No, this is what
I'm talking about.
We're talking about his story, not the 4 friends. Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, you can say the action of the man coming inside of her, that's the action and things like that. But in the same sense, it's still a dual action because he's not having sex with her unprotected by himself. She's also having unprotected sex with him. In the same sense, too, she's still, allowing this to be a possibility as well. So it's much her fault, him coming in her, as it is his fault not pulling out.
I'm trying to understand the point you're arguing. I don't get that.
Because you're trying to say that it's the man, they're blaming the women for trapping him and things like that.
No. You see, I said none of that.
No, not in those words.
To listen instead of listening to respond and retaliate and
I was not listening to respond.
I never said anything about it's your fault and it's his fault and he got her pregnant and that's why. I never said any of that. But go ahead. Right.
Okay. Right. What I'm trying to say is it is still both people. It's not a reaction like
I'm talking about once things go sour. That's why I said I know I didn't talk anything about conception or making the baby. I ain't talking nothing about that. He's talking about, and the government wants the black man to not be in the house. Well, here's my issue. If you know that's the conspiracy set against you, why are you partaking? Why are you playing your role in it?
Well, I mean, still in all.
Willie Lynch theory. And wait, if it's a Willie Lynch theory and you're aware of what the Willie Lynch theory is, why are you being an active participant? Why are you playing the role that was set forth to you? You get
and what role is that?
And I'm not the same majority, and again, you know, do what you do, which is act like it's not the majority because you happen to know the 4 cool brothers who do the right thing. I know quite a few who do the right thing. That's not our story, unfortunately. And it's not how can I say? It's not the narrative being pushed. There's a reason why it's not the narrative being pushed. Stop playing into the role that is written for you. It happens. Oh boy.
You can say that in the same sense. You can say she's putting them in that same role. The same role that you're saying he shouldn't jump in. She also is playing a part in making that the role. It's like saying this. Why would you want to have a child or start a family with someone who's making it clear and loud that they don't want to have a family with you?
That's not always, stop. That is not always how the story starts. We're going to stop that also. The story is never, oh, I'm in love with you, just don't have no baby on me. That's not it. It's both people coming together and not being responsible, especially if they don't want to have a child. If he didn't want to have a child that much, he would not have done his part in creating the child. And then you turn to her and say, well, I told you I didn't want to have no babies. Why did you steal my sperm in the middle of the night when I was unconscious? That's not how it happened. You partook, and now this is what happens
because
when two people partake.
Men are weak
Y'all
to the
get
flesh.
mad when it's like, well, I decided, huh?
Men are weak to the flesh. So when she does that to us,
Listen,
we weak to it.
Hold
on, Melanated keeps saying this. I saw him put this in caps a lot of times. Get a vasectomy.
And guess what? Sometimes
it's reversible
for your weaknesses. And if Melanated say get a vasectomy, one more again.
Yeah, it's reversible. Listen, that is not the solution.
Everybody, wait. Everybody wants to say this whole, oh, the system, it's also the system that allows men to pay $25 a month in child support. I'll never hear a man come on and say, oh my God, the system's fucked up. They only taking $25 out of my paycheck to support a child for a whole month.
When he worked at McDonald's,
he got
the lawyer plug. Tell him to put the lawyer plug in the chat now.
Huh?
I said, tell him to put the lawyer plug in the chat. I know some niggas want to use that now.
Right. But that's the thing. They would feel like, yeah, I got over. Let that shit go from 25 to 300. That's like, oh my God, how am I ever going to live my life?
That should be normal. To be honest, that should be normal. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Exactly, Melanated. If you don't want kids, you can definitely do your part to keep that from happening.
We. It shouldn't be you. It should be we.
Yeah, but if I don't want kids and you don't want kids, but I end up pregnant, we both did something stupid.
Right.
We both did. If I am not willing to put my body through having an abortion, you have to also deal with the consequences of your action and not blame me for your action, your part in it.
Okay. Now, you said the key word. We both did something stupid. So don't stop here. Hold on. We both did something stupid. Let's not stop at stupid. Let's keep being stupid and not do it. Like, I'm trying to understand the point. Like, when you say that, we both did something stupid.
But you make it, you know why? Because there's no attachment for men. I'll let you know what happened to me. I got pregnant after I had my son, and I was ectopic. I did not even know I was pregnant. But I go in, and they're like, oh, it can't grow like that. I don't know how I would have felt if I had to go through that pregnancy, because I just had my son. I have to take full responsibility for the fact that I wasn't careful or cautious after, right? I have to take that. But so would his father, right? So if your thing is, well, we just had a baby, we shouldn't, have another baby so soon, you shouldn't have done your part.
We should have done our part.
But you cannot impose your uncomfortability and not wanting to deal with your consequences on me and what I would have to soul search about, because I would then be forced to make a decision about something that I may feel very strongly against. But you'd want to impose that on me, and I think that's wrong. So once you do something stupid, whether it's, oh, I was driving my car and I wasn't paying attention for a second and I hit a kid. You did something stupid, and now you have to pay for your consequences. You may not have meant it. You may have wished you could have went back to the moment and reversed it, but you can. It is what it is. So if you have to deal with your consequences, you have to first own the responsibility of it even being a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Let me get to some of these comments. I do understand what you're saying. No, I agree with you. Let me just say that I agree with you partially, but before I get to that, let me get to some of these comments because they got me cracking up. All right, so Melanie said, because I'm not understanding why it's just on the women. It's not just on the women, Melanie. Let me get that straight.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
no,
is.
It's not.
You're absolutely saying that.
No, it's not.
Yes, you are.
It's not just on the women. It's on both of them. What I'm trying to say is,
but it's only on the woman once you're in the situation. It's
because
like,
it's her body. That's the only part of the woman that it's on. It's her body. That's the only part that it's on. If it was the man's body and he could make the decision to not have it, trust me, he would not be having it if that's how he felt. So that's why we're saying it's on the woman.
But if he really felt like that, he would have not been in that situation to begin with. He would have done his part.
I mean, yo, you know what? There's some people that have these conversations and they talk about it and say, yo, listen, we're both not ready for children. And then they get into that situation and it's the female who's like, yo, listen, I know we said we wasn't ready, but it's happening. And he's like, yo, but what? So that's a different story. Anyway.
Yeah, we both did something stupid.
Yeah, so don't stop stupid now. Let's keep being stupid and not do what we're doing. Anyway, East Coast Nipsey, because we partake in sexual activities and a child is involved, my intentions may not be to fall victim to the government shenanigans. But after a child is in the picture, things change. $25 is shit. Nah, facts, Amazon. $25 is shit to take care of a kid. That's fucked up. Like, what does he do? What did he work at McDonald's 3 days a week? Anyway, Melanated said, if you don't want kids, you can definitely do your part in keeping that from happening. Like females wearing that condom or wearing contraceptives. I got you, Melanated. You're right. Then there won't be the I was trapped speech. East Coast said child support should be banned as well. Nah, B. I can't agree with that one.
You sound dumb as hell.
Yeah, I can't agree with that one. Glamazon, hold on, Glamazon, I need some clarity on this comment right here. What if you just have
Glamazon, call.
What if you just have sex with a person you're in a relationship with? Like, what do you mean? Like, if you just in a relationship with somebody for sex, you're not really in emotions with them. I'm trying to understand that because
okay. Let me ask a question. I have seen Black love on the rise, but don't you feel like there has been a lot of unwed mothers, unwed fathers, children growing up in unwed homes? Don't you think that creates a certain level of stability for the family as a unit so that these decisions aren't made by somebody you met not too long ago or somebody you just like and y'all ain't really, into each other? And I feel like once we start focusing more on like moving with intention, I think we lose some of these conversations. That makes sense to anybody out there?
All right.
Like once we move with intention, and it's not to say, oh, I'm 25 years old, we got to get married, we got to do this, we got to do that. I feel like we have to move better and in a way where there's not so many oopses or
it's
so
yes
many.
And no.
Right.
I'm going to say yes and no. And the reason why I'm going to say yes, because, children seeing their parents in, especially if it's a loving marriage, because not all marriages is a loving marriage,
right.
But children seeing their parents in a loving marriage.
Or even in a loving situation. Because let's say.
But we was talking about wed. You was talking about being wed. So that's why.
Right. But I don't want you to just say wed.
Yeah, no, but
I know, right.
Since we're addressing the wed, that's what I'm addressing, right? So seeing that, it can be an example. Or it can, this is where I'm saying the no, or it can be, oh, that's not the cycle I want. A lot of times, children are rebellious to the fact that they don't want to be like their parents, no matter how successful their parent is.
Early in life, though. I don't think that's something that...
it depends. It depends. But a lot of times... Right, that's what I'm saying. It depends. But a lot of times, in children's mind, especially when they're being raised, they're like, they don't want to be like their mom and dad. They don't want to be like the examples that they have. They want to change and be something different, something better, something more, no matter how successful or unsuccessful their parents were. So that's why I'm saying no, because then seeing that, it would make that. But seeing their moms struggle alone and things like that, sometimes those kids are the ones that when they get in relationships, They're in love with every person that they're dating. They're trying to marry every person that they're dating. That's also toxic. That's also not a good mentality to really build relationship on.
That's why I appreciate the uprise in therapy and self-care and self-love and becoming aware of, you know, your past traumas. Because a lot of times we never called it traumas. First of all, okay, East Coast, I apologize. Did I say it was dumb as hell? That sounds like
don't be sensitive, East Coast. East Coast, don't be so sensitive out here, yo.
I know. Your whole name, East Coast Nipsey, and you. Yeah. But the reason I said it was dumb as hell is because people tend to forget the first word in child support.
Child.
Here's my issue, and you're not gonna agree. I already know because you're jaded. But
wait, what?
I don't feel. No, he's jaded.
Oh.
I don't feel that most people want to have to involve anyone in trying to get support for their child, right? Most people. It is difficult a lot of times for women to feel like what's being contributed is sufficient just because you're not only dealing with the financial, but if you're a single mom, you're dealing with everything else that comes with it, right? And yes, you could say, oh, I get my child every other weekend. That's 4 days of 30, 31, you know, depending on the month. It doesn't include getting up for school, homework, breakfast, this, that. It doesn't include, it's the fun time. It's the weekend where they can sleep until noon and get up and brush their teeth if they feel like it and all this other stuff. So I don't feel like the magnitude of what women deal with on a regular basis gets translated well. And I will admit that it creates resentment. It creates hostility. It creates jealousy sometimes, because if I'm home with the baby and you out and you living your best life and then you come in when it's convenient to come pick up the child and then you're gone, and those things create a hostile environment. I don't think it's healthy to do the whole every other weekend. I feel like if you're gonna get them on the fun times, get them every weekend. You know what I'm saying? You've doubled the time. You know what I'm saying? Where, go ahead. How you see? So here's my thing. If I have my children, no, because it's bull. That comment that you just made was so ridiculously selfish. You said that 5 times. Are you going to actually get it out, or are you just going to keep asking to get it out? You said it 5 times. Are you going to actually get it out, or you just want to keep asking for it? We can't hear you. That's God. That's God intervening in your to find an auntie. You've had to find a grandma. The same way I can do it if I need some time for myself is the same way you should be able to do it. So if you have your child from the Friday to the Sunday and you need to go out Saturday night, feed them, bathe them, get them prepped, drop them my grandma, grandpa, auntie, uncle, whatever you need to do. And then you go get yourself a little fun time. And then you bring your ass the fuck home. Guess what? Find a chill out spot on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Figure it out.
Can you hear me now?
Once you decide to have children, that whole I need my weekends for myself, unfortunately.
All right. My bad. I had to turn that
Thank you,
Wi-Fi off.
Glamazon.
These iPhones be bugging. Anyway, can you hear me now?
Unfortunately.
No? Can you hear me now? Yes? Okay. Like I was saying.
Unfortunately.
Okay, good. It's not every other weekend. It should be every week. Every other week. So they have them from Monday through Sunday, and then you have them from Monday through Sunday. So the same way you said, they got to deal with waking them up. They got to deal with taking them to school. They got to deal with all those things. They should have a week. We should have a week. And that's how it should be instead of the every other weekend. That's what I was trying to get out since it was God. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not every other weekend.
On some shit.
Yeah, every other weekend is not a good thing. Every other weekend is not sufficient enough to say that you're any type of parent, even if you're paying child support every week. Every other weekend is not. But every weekend.
Here's the thing. With your plan, it would knock child support out. Everybody
in a way, yes.
How about that?
Yes, in a way, yes. It should.
If you get the child for 2 weeks and then send them to me for 2 weeks, and we figure out holidays, no child support.
No child support. Exactly. So you see, so
we
this is what I'm
agree
trying
on something. Look at that.
Yeah. It's God, right? Anyway. No, but that's what I'm trying to say. It's not sufficient enough where, and this is what child support creates. Child support creates that distance where the guy now feels like, yo, well, this is what the court said. That's all I'm going to do. That when it's my time to come get me because the court said it, that's what I'm going to do. When it's my time to pay, don't call me in the middle of the week for nothing because this is what I'm supposed to do because of the court said. It creates that distance and it creates this abrupt home. You know what I'm saying? But all of this has to do with this same decision because this same decision is going to create a lot more of this type of situation. Create a lot
fallout. Yeah.
Like people want to try to make it a race thing because of what the numbers say, but in all effect, it affects all of us. It really affects all people that's involved, that's in these areas where it is illegal. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna end up creating a distance in the home. It's gonna end up creating a lot of broken homes, a lot of babies thrown in the garbage or babies found at a doorstep.
That's what it's gonna be, them prom babies and the exactly.
You
that's
know,
when they're gonna learn.
A lot of
I have to give the star of the day to Glamazon. This comment, I wish I could pin it. Learn to co-parent properly to have a happy child. And I will agree that when it comes to men and women, I'm gonna give that. People start losing the child in it. It becomes I'm going to win. You're not going to win. This and that. And people are not putting the child first, what is the priority for them, what they need, what they don't need to see. Men, if I get nothing else to you, like, I feel like I'm going to get emotional with this. Your children need you. Like they don't even know they need you and they need you.
That's true.
So everything else that comes with it, I mean, you know, mamas get the love, and I think sometimes dads don't feel as appreciated because everything's so geared towards mothers and showing mom love and stuff like that. Regardless, if you get to tie some socks on Father's Day, it is what it is. Your children need you. I don't understand how you can walk knowing that you have a child on this earth who needs you and you just living. I don't care. And I know y'all may not agree. I don't care how difficult she is. I don't care what you have to go through, because I'm telling you, as a mother, if the shoe was on the other foot and my kids were not with me and I had to go do what I have to do, I don't care what kind of fight I have to put up. It's going to be a fight. I don't care if that child reached 18 and we still dealing with it. I cannot just say, this is frustrating. and I'm done. There are men who pay the child support, never go visit the kid, never fight for visitation for their child. I've heard men say, I'm going to just see them when they turn 18. They don't know you then. You know, they won't know who you are. You trying to form a bond, and this is how much your children need you. There are people who have met their fathers in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and they have forgiven them for completely abandoning them their whole life just to get a few years with them. That is hard. That is hard. I grew up without a father. He passed when I was very young. I wasn't even 3 yet. I was still 2 when my father passed. And I think growing up without having that person there, I always felt like it was so important for me to have a cordial, respectful as possible relationship. Like while we on the phone, my son just came home.
That's funny.
I'm so happy his father dropped him all the way from Brooklyn. I appreciate you. Things like that. Like I try not to make a big thing out of everything. And I only get personally hurt when I see my kids are hurt. Right. You know what I'm saying? But
I understand that.
And I don't give a fuck about.
I agree with what you're saying.
You got a girl. You did that. I don't give a fuck. You could fly to Bangkok today, Japan. You could go do what you want to do. Right. Do not
abandon your
children. Child suffer.
Yeah, I understand.
Do not make them feel some lesser way. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
That we'll never have a problem.
But we don't live in a world where everything is rainbows and sprinkles, you know, and you know, like in a world where everything would be okay and everything would be grand and great, that would happen, you know, and like even like Glamazon comment that I pinned, co-parenting, you know, to properly have a happy child. Listen, in a world where everything is rainbow and sprinkles, that also would happen the majority of times. But everything is not always rainbow and sprinkles. And what happens with most people is that they were dealing with each other before this child was here, obviously. So when they're dealing with each other now that the child is here, that it gets blurry to them because they still had that before the child relationship, before the child understanding, before the child what they was dealing with. So sometimes it can get crazy. It can get like, and I'm not for it because I put myself on child support if we're going to talk about it. You know, I had to go through the fight, you know, because I had to fight for the visitation. I had to fight to make sure that, listen, I'm paying what I have.
And we
go
love
to the courts
and
see.
We love and commend
you know,
dads like that. I'm going to give you your accolades now.
Yeah, thank you.
Because look at the relationship. You went through that.
Yeah.
But you and your sons, like, come on, man.
Yeah, they're my people.
From where I'm at, I see it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're my people.
And we need more of our brothers to move in that light, to move in that connection.
But it's not easy. I ain't gonna lie to y'all and tell y'all this.
I know that.
You think that easy. The government don't care about our children. I'll tell you that right now. Somebody who went through it. The government does not care. They care about dollars. That's what they care about. Like my union paid for my lawyer and all of that, and they wanted more money. They was like, nah. You got off because you got benefits, B. I need you to come out your pockets if you really want to see your kids. Like this is what this government was doing to make me, you know what I'm saying, have to be in my child's life. But I mean, you know, you go through these things because we love our children. But I do understand, like I said, I am not for it. I am not with it. But I have an understanding for the fellas and for the women that it's almost impossible for them to co-parent. Because if you can't co-parent properly, guess what? You're going to do more damage to your child than if you was to stay away. You're going to do more damage to your child than...
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, man, you will. You will. You know,
my thing is there has to be a way, and I know it's not the most popular answer. There has to be a way to, if you know for some reason you can't stand to see this person that you swore you loved at one point in your life, You have to start implementing aunties and uncles. Listen, if it ever came to a point where I can't pick up my son or drop my son off or whatever the case may be, I have sisters, I have a mother, he has friends and stuff. There has to be a way that if we just can't see each other and we can't take it to that level, listen, I don't got nothing to do with my child. Mom, can you, uncle so-and-so, could you grab? Whatever has to happen, has to happen. And I know we discussed it before and you didn't agree. But if I have to meet you in a precinct to pick up my child, I'm going to do it.
Let me read some of these comments.
Everyone's not going to agree, and that's fine. I know what I would do. Kayla?
Yeah, East Coast Nipsey said, well, if they can ban abortions, they can ban child support. You know, it would allow you to think twice before going raw. Let's talk about our goals, plans, financial status. Glamazon said, shit, it should be every day. I take the baby to school. You can pick them up. I mean, you know. Melanated said, what? Now she's on her own for real, for real. I mean.
Facts.
He said, makes people think twice now, you know. You gotta say option, no nookie tonight, you know.
That's the thing. That should have been happening though.
Learn to have a good friendship and then marry before sex. I mean, I mean, some of these comments, this is what I say. If we lived in a world where everything is perfect.
Look at this old freak talk about some let's be friends before we
have sex. I mean, he was sprung too, so I understand his feelings.
The word on the street is.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I get the feeling.
We could be realistic. I don't feel like there's anything I said that's not realistic, or I haven't personally experienced myself to say I know it can happen. I just feel like people sometimes aren't disciplined, and when they make a mistake, want the quick fix, and unfortunately, that's not the way it goes. The problem, too, though, is when they do stuff like banning abortion and stuff like that, I feel like murder is going to go up, too. There have been so many high-profile and a lot of low-profile cases where men feel trapped and they will kill you and the baby.
Or women, you know what I'm saying? Same way. But you know what? The book said it like this.
Wait. And women who do what?
Kill people, too.
No. You're talking about with the pregnancy.
Yeah, kill people and the babies, like women do.
Why are women killing those other women?
No, not other women. I mean, hold on, wait.
What are you talking about?
There's a whole documentary about Candy, who actually killed a woman that she was having an affair with her husband. So women kill women too. Let's not
Candy.
Yeah, it's based on a true story as well.
No, I'm not saying. Okay, so you're saying that there would be women who men have cheated and gotten another woman pregnant.
Right.
Again, that's his fault, because why the fuck are you cheating raw and pregnant a woman? But anyway, but don't you know what? I'm gonna tell you this now. You know what I can't stand? When I give you a fact, and it is a majority of men who do it, and you're like, women too, and then you got 1 or 2 cases to my 25, and then you're like, see, we're even.
No, I'm just trying to say,
kill women,
not even.
But I'm talking about women who are men who will feel trapped by the woman and then be like, oh, this is what has to happen. There's many of those cases.
I'm pretty sure there's many women too. We just don't know about it.
How many you got where the woman is the other woman and she's pregnant and the wife went and killed? Matter of fact, that's more reason why he would kill her ass when she outside women.
Yes and
I should
no.
make a whole song about it.
Look, that's circumstantial, okay? If you want to say, oh, it's the majority because the majority knows about it, we don't know what the majority don't know about.
Now it's the majority knowing about it?
Like I said,
that's what you are.
You don't be biased and just say, oh, it's men killing the women.
You're a fraud.
No, listen, it's people killing people, okay? It's not men killing women. It's the circumstances that create the murder. It's not just men.
Guess who the only victim we're talking about is?
The child.
Women. The pregnant woman. So at the end of the day, whether it's another woman who kills her or the man who kills her, she is the common denominator victim.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
But it's still, just don't put it on the men. It's their fault.
The men.
You said it. It's still
men.
his fault. Why was he cheating anyway? His fault. What?
It's the men.
Yo, listen.
It's the men, but go ahead.
Yeah, listen, man. People do crazy things. Like I said, the book said it. This is what the book said. The book said that men's hearts is too cold. And when they say men, they're not just talking about the gender men. They're talking about all men, men and women. Their hearts is too cold. You know what I'm saying? So we live in a world where our hearts is too cold. So yes, we should always find a way. Yes, like Melanie said, we should get a mediator. Yes, we should find a way. But in a real world, it's not always gonna be like that. And we're not gonna be able to explain it. I feel like this, and I don't care. I won't budge. She feels like this. She don't care. She won't budge. We can't meet in the middle. There's no one else. Mom is not going to help. Dad is not going to help. Auntie's not going to help. Cousin's not going to help. Everybody doesn't have that family base as well. So, to be realistic, I don't think there's ever going to be a way that we're going to have a majority meeting in the middle. I think... I
feel like I hear what you're saying, but this wasn't always our norm. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't believe the hype that this is how Black people are.
No.
There was a time when more Black people were married than not married.
Yes.
There was a time where it was expected that if you impregnate a woman, you guys get married, y'all have a house.
Make an honest woman of her.
Right. Of course, there are instances where that led also to resentment and stuff like that. But I feel like for a majority, people wanted that life. They wanted the structure. They wanted you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The family, quote unquote. There was still that thought of the American dream. I think sometimes when that focus shifts and it's okay to be in the hood and have that hood story and be like everybody else that you see around you, it kind of put us in a bad space. And do I feel like some of that is a government? Absolutely, because
they throw us in the project.
Black family prosper. But I also feel like we have to own some of that. If we know the agenda is to keep us apart, we don't have to keep playing into that role of doing what's expected of you. Because a stereotype is a stereotype. Yeah, it could have been grasped from someplace. We don't have to keep it up. And I will say I am very glad to see the uprise in, I don't know if y'all know, but from the census, Black marriages are on the rise. So Black love, we all for it. And I feel like with that, a lot of our structural issues will start to get resolved. We are sending more kids to college. We are traveling more. We're,
yes,
exposing ourselves to different things more in our lives. And I feel like that's definitely going to have an impact on how we create our families moving forward.
Well, I'm sure if we did another census on top of that census, we will find out that a lot of these, the Black youth and things like that are on the rise and getting married, a lot of them grew up in homes where that wasn't the case. A lot of them grew up in their homes where they're breaking the cycle. So you see where I'm saying, where you're saying that if it was the norm, then it would probably be continued. It might not. It might have this same effect where now, history repeat itself and the homes are broken. The homes are like, oh, no, I see my mom, even though they stayed together forever, she wasn't happy. Or no, I see my dad every day. He worked his ass off and he wasn't happy. And no matter what he did, he couldn't make my mom happy. I don't want to do that. It could also have a negative effect, So it's really on the people themselves. I think people, humans out, have to try to find a way to embrace love than hate more, because it wasn't just only a norm for Black people, but it was a norm for all people at a point where marriage was the thing. You know,
yeah, but unfortunately, they kept their norm.
In a way, yes. In a way, no.
In a lot of other cultures, they keep their norm. They've kept their norm. And I'm not just talking about, you know.
Yeah, no. Indians still have arranged marriages.
People, right. There's a lot of other cultures that kept going with their tradition, and their numbers don't fluctuate as much as ours did at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see the uprise. I'm glad to see the effort being made, if anything else. But I also have seen a lot of healthy co-parenting. I've seen more healthy co-parenting in more recent years than I've seen before or growing up. Honestly, I've seen people go to people's job and
act the fool,
act the fuck up. And I don't know if I'm just not exposed to it anymore, but with social media, you would think that if it was like some ongoing big trend, you'd see it all the time.
It everywhere.
But I'm glad to say that I don't see that as much. It's not a thing as much, and I'm hoping that continues.
Well, you know, no one wants to hear World Star yelled out in the background.
World Star!
Yo, like, hold on, wait, what? That's me? That's me? Ah, shoot, I'm trending right now. Not in a good way. No.
Right. Absolutely.
So nobody wants that to be there, so I understand that. I understand. But like Melanated said, and I'm gonna address this in a way. She said there's no solution for 100%. But I think to brushing it off as a lot of us are just not going to be able to work things out. I'm not saying a lot. I'm just saying the reality is that there's going to be people that it's just not. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for 100%. There's nothing 100%. There's nothing perfect.
But you make it seem like when someone gives you a solution that it has to be 100%. I don't feel like anyone has the expectation.
No, yeah.
If I provide a solution, you're like, that's not going to work for everyone. Well, duh, but it might work for some.
Yeah, no, everything
you know
can work for
the
some.
Mindset, right?
But I just wanted to keep the base reality, like, yo, listen, that's true, and it does sound good. But let's be real. If it's an
unspoken thing, then you don't necessarily have to speak it.
Nah, I speak it. Nah, we have to speak it. That's why
we're
here.
Know it.
We're here to let's talk about it. So I'm going to speak it so we can talk about it.
But you're implying that people don't know that everything isn't 100.
Well, there are going to be some people that don't.
They're not remedial in here.
I mean, maybe not in here, but maybe people that's going to watch it. Maybe people that's going to check it out. They might be. They might be like, well, you didn't say. I thought it was 100%.
How?
Listen, you gotta talk for the ones who don't have a voice. That's why we here, you know. That's why I'm here. I'm telling his story too. I ain't gonna let y'all just.
Yeah, you're right. It's a whole lot of.
I ain't gonna let y'all just tell her story and let it rock out here. Nah, we gotta let his story rock too. No, but I mean, listen. Yeah, we touched on a lot of good solutions tonight. You know, and East Coast Nipsey, you might be on something. Maybe if they do ban child support, you know, maybe it might have women thinking more responsibly too, because sometimes women feel like that's their crush. Like, what? If you don't want to have the baby, no, well, I'll put him on child support. I heard women say that a lot of times. What? Like, I'll put you on child support. What? Yo, you be on child support.
But it's true.
Right. But this is what I'm trying to say. So that's a crutch for women too. So
listen, let me ask you. Do you feel like, and don't tell me about the two that you know, right? Do you feel like majority?
Yeah, you gotta stop coming for my friends because we decent, yo.
I didn't say your friends. I said the two you know. Listen to my whole thing before you say that. Do you feel like the majority of women can't wait to have a baby to sit back and collect child support?
I'm gonna say
they could ball out of control.
No, I won't say the majority, but I would say there is a good amount of women that they
unless you are a superstar, I cannot see that being most people's motive. You know what? That nigga that lived down the street in his mama apartment, I think I'm gonna get knocked up by him because I could use that extra $100 to buy my Louis.
And then I have another one for another nigga and get him. and have another one for another. Now I got 4 niggas giving me child support.
Here go the 2 that he talking about.
No, I'm trying to tell you. See, but you asked a question. I'm keeping it 100.
That is not the mentality of the majority.
No, it's a crutch though. It's a crutch in the back of your head to know that, yo, if things go left, I can't get some type of support.
Okay,
I can't take his ass to court.
But you're supposed to support.
Yeah, true. You are supposed to support. But I mean, you're supposed to support, you know, and sometimes the situation, you didn't want the situation, you know, and the situation is being forced upon you.
That has nothing to do with your action.
Yes, it does, because, like I said,
you chose to be unsafe with yourself.
And you're having a baby with somebody who did that and don't want to have a baby.
Yeah, but now you've decided what you want to impose on someone else.
And they're imposing it on me too.
But it's not more right for you to do it. You get what I'm saying?
There's no right. It's not right neither way. Her forcing a baby on him is not right. Him not wanting the baby after he got her pregnant is not right. There's no right.
You're telling me you have a drunken encounter with someone. They hit you up, hey, you know, whatever.
Who baby that now?
And I'm pregnant. Yeah. And you're like, I don't want to have a kid. And they're like, I understand, but I don't feel comfortable having an abortion. And this is something we both did. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't feel like you should force me to have an abortion either. Because the same way this Roe v. Wade is a forcing, it's still a forcing by you saying, well, if you decide to have that baby, I don't got nothing to do with you or it. It could be that I personally, whether it's religious beliefs, whether it's medically, I don't feel safe going through with a procedure like that. Your solution is now deal with it.
Well,
Even though I am half responsible for you even being in this situation, you deal with it because I told you I don't want to.
Okay.
That's
solution. So this is where we're at, right? We're halfway because now you come to me, and obviously this is going to be an early time, like, you know, maybe a month or two, a couple weeks, maybe 6 to 8 weeks where you find out wherever, right? So it's early on. This is what we're going to say because I want it to be clear that after a certain time, like you said, 21 weeks or 24 weeks, nah, dude, you stuck. But when it's...
Listen, it's the
hold on.
It's the 3rd week, because I need this to make sense. Go ahead.
Okay, right. It's early on, right? And, yo, listen, I don't feel safe. I'm not comfortable, blah, 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 all that stuff you just said. So, halfway. This dude is saying, I don't want this. I don't want to do. So y'all at the that's where y'all at the halfway mark right there. This is the halfway mark. When he's saying now, I don't want it, and you're still saying, well, I don't care.
No.
All right,
you see that bullshit that you're about to do?
Hold on.
Stop you right there.
I'm just instead of saying all of the wording that you're saying, I'm just gonna put it in a nice little bow.
You also giving the this and that when you didn't give your homeboy none of that. So don't give it to her.
Yeah, okay. Right?
You're not about to do
he's basically saying, no, I don't want to. And you're like, yes, right? Because your religious reasons, whatever it is, whatever your reason is, you're saying yes. That's where you take the 50% and you're saying 100% me because someone is telling you they don't want. And they don't. They don't. So you're saying I don't care what you want.
Let's reverse it.
Yeah.
She finds out she's pregnant. Listen, I'm not doing this. And he's like, I want this child.
Right.
His opinion don't matter no more because it's her body.
His opinion does matter.
So she should go through with the pregnancy even though it's her body.
If she does,
give me the solution.
Hold on. She does go through the pregnancy. Give him the baby. It's his baby. He wants the baby. Yo, when I have this baby, this is your baby. I'm just saying, you see what I'm trying to say? But exactly, yes, she don't want the baby. He wants the baby. Give him the baby. Give him the baby.
She doesn't want to have the pregnancy either.
Well, you see, that's something completely different.
No, it's absolutely
not. It is because it's still her body at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's still her body at the end of the day.
So if she does want the baby, it's her responsibility.
That's not about the body, though.
Not his. Okay.
That's not about the body.
I got you.
That's about the baby.
Yeah, but it's still her body. She has to make a decision about.
Yeah, she's already comfortable with that decision of going through her body with that. So she.
But you contributed to the condition she's in.
Yeah, I did contribute, but at the point where she could have changed that contribution, she wants to go through.
You could have changed the contribution.
How? It's too late. That part passed.
No,
it was a drunk night.
But this is what I'm saying.
So what
you want a get out of jail card free
card
by saying, listen, by saying, well, I don't want it.
No.
Well, if I told you I don't want it, you can't come after me for my bread.
No, it's not just that. It's basically saying like, yo, you don't want this situation with this person. So why would
you shouldn't have gotten yourself in the situation.
You already said it was a drunk night. Men are weak to the flesh. We're weak to the flesh.
God.
We got
That's
gonna
be our excuse to
it's not an excuse. It's a true thing. It's a majority thing.
Women are weak to the flesh.
Nah. Women ain't weak to the flesh like men are. Let's just get that straight.
You give your closing argument because you're about to.
We know you don't like to hear this, but no, seriously.
That is such bull. That is such an easy escape of responsibility that it is mind-boggling that you are a whole grown adult and can fix your face to say men are weak to the flesh. That's why you should have an abortion.
No. Listen.
You
see, you want to twist my words, yo. Listen.
Did you not say that?
No, that's
the reason why she is more responsible and he's less responsible.
No.
He was so weak. This is what you said. He was so weak. He couldn't not have unprotected sex with her. No,
you're trying to make this about the body. You want to say, oh, it's her body, her decision.
I never said
yes,
that.
You did. You said
no. I said if she's uncomfortable with going through a procedure like that,
right?
That is not just, oh, it's her body. It could potentially be her life.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
So you want me to put my life on the line because you don't want to be inconvenienced in yours.
It's not necessarily inconvenience. It's whatever.
What is it?
It could be his emotional stuff. It could be his mental stuff. It could be everything.
But it's still an inconvenience for you.
It doesn't necessarily have to be an inconvenience.
Well,
it could just be a mental.
It's his needs and his wants.
It could be whatever it is. It could be whatever it is.
Some examples.
It's the same way like saying inconvenience for your body. Then I'm trying to put you in an inconvenience.
Inconvenience is I don't wanna. You genuinely having a fear for a medical procedure is there. Let me tell you, I've never been put under for anything in my life except when I got my wisdom teeth pulled. I am absolutely afraid of like anesthesia and stuff like that. Absolutely. You're telling me that if during a night of whatever, and I go to the guy and I'm like, you know what? I really don't feel like I can put myself in a position to be put under. I can't give you the details of how it happened. I don't know. But I personally can't do that. I'm fearful of that. I don't necessarily believe in it, whether it's my religious belief, whether it's, whatever it is on my end. You're saying that once I tell you that, then now this child is 100% I'm responsible for, because now you vocalize that you are not interested in procreating with me. However, procreation can only happen through exactly what happened between us.
Right. Okay. So this is my whole thing.
Now it is 100% my fault, even though only 50% of the activity was me.
No. Getting pregnant is not 100% your fault. That's not 100%. That's the 50%. At the point where you guys have the discussion, keeping it, if the other person is saying they don't want to have it, that's where it becomes 100% your decision, because this person is literally
not my decision, my responsibility.
Hold on. Responsibility, decision, however you want to word it. You know what I'm saying? This is where it becomes 100% yours, because this person is coming to you and telling you they're not ready for whatever their reason, for whatever inconvenience, whatever it is, they're not ready. Why would you want, you know what I'm saying, at that point, why would you want to continue to go through with this if someone is telling you that they're not ready and this is not what they want? You're saying that you don't care about whatever it is, their inconvenience. You're into yourself. Like, it's all about how you feel. It's your body. You're the one that
only one of us has to subject their body to anything,
regardless of how you put it. Only one of us. So
you're saying that your get out of jail free card is me simply me simply saying, as a man, I don't want to, for whatever plethora of excuses or reasons that I want to give you, is enough for me to completely abandon an unborn child because I just don't want to, because I'm not mentally ready, because I'm not whatever. The only thing I know is that my dick could get hard and apparently my sperm work. But all the other stuff I'm not ready for.
Right.
I don't understand how you think that that's sufficient enough to get you out of the responsibility of a life that you 50% participated in and have 0% in any kind of.
Okay.
You don't have to deal with anything, whether it's the medical side of it, whether something happens, whether she goes in for an abortion at whatever age and then now can no longer have children. Your thing is, I don't really care about all that. I just don't want to be responsible for another human. And I really kind of don't care what happens to you or how it affects you thereafter. I've already told you I just don't want to. Your actions of not wanting to should have been not procreating with this person. Okay. That's where my argument is.
Now, let me ask you a question. Let me get through a few things before I ask you this question.
Facts, Glamazon.
Let me, men have the power. I was going to just say that. Women have the power to say it too because it's their body. So that's not a fact. That's both ways.
Apparently not, because
anyway,
say
like I'm saying,
what it is,
right?
then
why would you want to have a child with somebody who doesn't want to have a child?
How do you know that this person wants to have your motherfucking child? Like, it's not specific to you.
Answer the question.
That's the thing. It's not specific to you.
No.
Why would you want to have a child with a, well, why would you want to have, and I've heard it, oh, this ratchet, dirty bitch. How you lay down and put your little penis with nothing between you and this dirty bitch. Now all of a sudden you have a child coming into the picture. She everything under the sun. Damn. Well, you know what? 90%, 99% of the time, the person you laid down with is not the person you woke up to, because you everything until he gets satisfied, and then, oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, what? I want to have a baby with you. Oh my God, I'm not ready. Da, da, da. You could have done necessary things to not find yourself in that situation.
Understand, right? Understand what you're saying. What I'm trying to say is, right, because that type of talk should have happened before you guys had raw sex, right? So obviously, either it didn't or it did. We're not sure. We're not going to go into the specifics of that. My whole thing is, we're at a point where it's not a beating heart, or it's not a full baby yet. You know what I'm saying? The baby probably doesn't have a brain developed yet. It's not there yet. It's early. Like you said, 3 weeks. You're 3 weeks or 4 weeks, or you just missed your first menstrual. It's the first month. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's very early. If this person at this point is telling you they don't want to have children with you, why would you want to have a child with that person? Why would you want to create some sort of functional or dysfunctional family with this person if this person is making it clear at that point as a woman?
As a human being, I do not think that my desire to continue a pregnancy with my own child, because at that point, as much as you may say a child, to a woman, it's her child. Like you said, it's her body. You're carrying the baby. I think most of us maybe freak out at first, especially if we're not in the most ideal situation. So fine. Part of that also comes, I know a lot of women experience certain level of nervousness. Oh my God, I'm going to tell him, he's going to freak out, da 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 da. So we deal with all of that, right? Come to the person, and the first thing is not supportive, not sympathetic,
Right.
maybe not just thinking about themselves in that moment. And that's completely understandable, because when I got pregnant, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? My mind wasn't so much on anybody else. It was on me and what I have to do and all these other things, right?
Right.
If you're met with that, it doesn't take away from how you feel about your child. The only difference is men experience that later, I think, and women feel that earlier, if not immediately, but definitely earlier. It is not, I'm having this nigga baby, I'm having my baby. My baby's gonna be precious, my baby's gonna be so cute, da, 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 da. It's still your child. So yes, I may not be in the ideal situation with this person. However, I still want to, whether it's bring forth life, whether it's have a baby, whether it's I didn't think I could have kids and now here I am pregnant, or you know what, I'm in a good place in my life, it's not the worst thing that could happen, I could do this. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think, y'all may not agree with me because y'all know a lot of whatever y'all know, but I think that's why so many women do it on their own.
Okay.
And as much as you know, child support being people face, I feel like more times than not, there is no child support order.
Okay.
There's a lot of women, and I know some personally.
I agree.
Who do not have child support,
Mm-hmm.
who the father may not be involved whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
and they're doing it alone.
Yes.
They're doing it by themselves. They're pushing through without the help, without the support, because, again, I think women start feeling like this is my baby. So I understand what you're saying when you say, why would you want to have a baby with someone who don't want to have a baby? Sometimes that I didn't want to have a baby comes after the baby comes.
Well, you see, in those senses,
that happen.
Right, and that's why I wanted to make it clear. In those senses now, where it's you 3 months pregnant, no. This is you in there now. Now this is where it's now you're in there. There's no decision to be made. There's no talk about it. Is whether you don't want it or not, it's here. You're dealing with
Right.
this. This is happening. That's not what I want to address. I'm not for that. Like I said, I am pro-life. So I'm not for that part. I am for, you know what I'm saying, dude, you're gonna have to live with your responsibility now. I'm talking about the early part when this person makes it clear in the early part. You know, when a female does that, in a sense, when this person tells them in this early part that they're not interested, and the female does that, it is a kind of a force, and it is, like you said, 100% themselves. They don't care about that 50% that got them to this part. They knocking that 50% off and saying, well, it's my body, 100% me. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's where it becomes 100% that person. In that instance, in those instances, if child support wasn't a crutch, a lot of that mind frame might not continue. A lot of that mind frame won't happen. A lot of these conversations where, yo, do you want children? Do you want children with me? You know, will happen before they actually put themselves in these raw sex encounters to get to this 50-50. You understand what I'm saying? And because that's not happening, these talks happen when you got to make that phone call and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Some women don't, they know they miss their first month.
So let me ask you, because I think I'm getting disturbed by this term crutch. I think that if a woman feels like that child support will be in her future at some point in time, I think the relief is, you know what? He don't want nothing to do with the baby. I'll be raising the child by myself, but at least I'll be getting some help financially.
Right.
I don't think that women, for the majority, and please stop telling me about the 2 girls that you know.
I know more than 2 girls.
That went and got their BBL with child support.
Yo, come on.
And apparently don't give a fuck about their kids, because the mindset is, you're taking my child support and doing this. Not, you're a hardworking mother and you probably saved your own motherfucking money. And my child support is actually going to the child that don't look like a ragamuffin homeless kid in the street. I have seen women who dress to the T's, all they shit is proper, and their kid look like who done it. I have seen that.
Right.
That is not what you're not gonna do is paint single mothers or mothers who
I
do
love
by
single moms.
in no kind of light where it's like that's what they do and that's their motivation in life and that's all they living for is that little $100 check that they might get this week.
Got 4 babies, that's 400. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you keep going to the extreme of the welfare mama who got
look,
all those things happening.
I'm putting everybody under the umbrella.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's unfortunately the stereotype that the brush that gets painted across all. And I feel like you got to put a little bit more respect on our name when it comes to being a single mother. I feel like
the majority,
the support is not a crutch. It feels like, you know what? He already told me he's not interested in this baby. I'm still going to need the help to raise this child. So if worst case scenario, I think most mothers want their child to have a father in their life, a father figure in their life. Y'all may disagree. I think most women want their child to have a relationship with their father.
I believe so.
That's what I believe.
I believe so.
But if it comes out in week 3, I come to you, you choose, you know what, we was reckless, blah, blah, blah. I think I'm pregnant. And by my own calculations, I haven't gone to the doctor yet. I think I'm about 3 weeks. If your thing is, you know what, I'm not ready. I'm already a grandfather. You know, I got my situation going on. I can't really see myself going there right now. And I'm like, I can't see myself
not going there.
I can't. Right. This might be my last chance. Look how old I am.
Right.
I might not be ever to go back there again.
Right.
Whatever my situation is, I hear what you're saying. So I have to mentally prepare for you not being an active participant in this child's life from what you're saying now.
From the door.
I think the child support part comes in with the, okay, well, at least I won't be struggling to keep the lights on. There will be some kind of help. Because what it costs to be by yourself, because I remember what it was like.
Yeah.
What it costs to be by yourself in your own place, in your own space, whether it's a studio or 1 bedroom, is nothing compared to you having a child. Like my daughter, before I even had my 2 other children, my daughter always more or less had her own room. So a 1 bedroom and a 2 bedroom is 2 different, completely different costs. So if you contribute, the only thing that most of whatever it is you're contributing, because I've never gotten no big sums of money in my hand, I ain't been lucky like that, is the difference of what it costs me to be in a 1 bedroom as opposed to a 2 bedroom.
Right.
So let's say the difference is what? Give me an amount.
500, 800. 500 to 800.
Let's say it's 500.
Yeah.
Let's say you're giving me 400 a month. You're not even covering your child's room.
Right.
We're not talking food, insurance, medical, this. We're not talking about none of that. And I think the mentality men have, and not all men, of course, but a lot of men have is, yo, they taking $100 out of my check every week. By the time I get home, you know what I'm saying? All this other stuff, when I think most women want to have their children treated well, live well, look good, be well fed, have good experiences, be able to pay for the school trip.
I agree with you.
I agree with you
on everything you're saying.
Like that.
Right? I agree with everything you're saying. But all of that should have been in your thought from week 3 when you found out. All of that should have been in week 3. But everything you're saying, everything that you said under that umbrella is true and correct. 100%.
I get what you're saying. But what I'm also saying is, you can't say that, well, I help contribute to the issue, but I'm not going to take any responsibility. I feel like you're getting off light when you just pay child support. Your life is inconvenience. Anything more than you're missing a little bit of money every month, you don't have to adjust your life for nothing. You don't have to reschedule shit. You ain't got to schedule shit. You ain't got to replan and plan and program and package. Your life can continue exactly as it did before.
Yes.
But
except for that reminder. Except for that reminder that I still have this situation.
And let's be real. I don't know too many men who make so much money that when their other finances are calculated, that they're out $1,200 a month, or they're out some astronomical amount. Even the men who I know support, listen, I have seen men who pay $25 a month complain.
I mean,
I have seen men.
Give me their lawyer number, because I know some people who need them.
Who have paid $200 a month complain. And I'm like, that is $50 a week.
Mm-hmm.
If your child is in any kind of daycare, do you know that don't cover a goddamn day?
That don't even cover Pampers nowadays. I mean, I'm just saying. Like, serious. No, but you know what? And listen, like I said, I understand. And I agree with everything that you're saying. You haven't said not one thing wrong in everything that you just said. My whole thing is this. You knew all of that from week 3. You understand what I'm saying? When this dude is saying he don't want to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to he don't want this. He's not ready. He's not mentally ready. He saw his mom deal with it. He doesn't want to be a dad. He doesn't know his dad. He doesn't know how. Whatever. Like I said, I can't go through the plethora of reasons that this. So
you're saying once you say I'm gonna have this child, you should expect.
You should accept 100% of all of those things that you said, because this dude is already telling you from the door that he doesn't want, and you're basically saying, I don't care what you want, it's what I want.
Going to agree with that. It's
I know.
not
Women are not.
But the same way she says that is the same way he says it.
Right.
No one is right for feeling like they're only thinking about themselves.
It's all wrong. It's all wrong. Everybody's wrong.
It could be, but only one of them has any basis in reality. And that reality is you partook.
I mean,
and
yes.
You are half responsible.
Yes.
You not wanting to is not a valid enough reason to
at the point,
obliterate your responsibility.
No, at the point where it could be, the responsibility could be obliterated, that is a point where it could have been obliterated.
Yeah,
and that's where it goes to say...
but that's in your opinion.
Right. Isco said something that I just can't agree with, and it's just completely nonsense.
Right, but you're saying... But you're saying that...
He said they should ban sex before marriage. Bro, listen. Do you know how many back alleys that still will go on? That can't happen, bro. That's not even.
Prostitution would go up.
That's not even realistic.
Yeah, y'all talk about an unrealistic solution. There it is.
And Melanie, no, getting a vasectomy is not the answer. And don't just ask to put the tip in. I mean, yo, that's our line, B. Yo, don't hate on the line.
Don't hate on the baby.
Wait, whoa. Yo, but this is what I'm trying to say, right? So I want to be clear. I want to be clear to understand. So I'm not saying that men shouldn't take part in their children's life. Let me be clear with that. Yo, listen. And
you're just saying if they feel like it.
No, I'm saying that at the point in these early parts of pregnancy, when when it's understood that this baby is not a baby as yet. You understand what I'm saying? 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
And that's in your mind. That may be in my mind. That is not
in
how
the majority of
woman thinks.
Right.
Because guess what? That. No, don't say that. Because Roe v. Wade just flipped. So you can't even say, in the majority of mind, because there are still people who believe that once it meets the egg and that pregnancy test say positive, that's a child. You're going to have a hard time finding a hormonally overload woman who just found out she's pregnant and who is not mad at being pregnant. You're going to have a hard time convincing her that her baby ain't a baby. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
I understand what you're saying, but you're making it too much of a matter-of-fact thing when it's a very emotional thing for a woman.
But even in science.
It's very connected. But even if we take the science out of it, it's an emotional thing for a woman.
Right.
It's almost like, I can't talk for nobody else. Once you finish crying, because I cried. Once you take that test and it's positive, it's real.
Right.
If that makes sense to anybody.
No,
it's real. Once you also have sat and be like, you know what? I'm going to see this through. You start thinking, is it a boy? Is it a girl? It becomes hard for you to say, yeah, this ain't going to happen.
Yes.
Especially after you have that hard conversation with the significant other and he hits you with the, so what time you going to make that appointment? You get what I'm saying?
Which makes it 100% the person themselves. It makes it 100% the woman herself.
Let me tell
you see
that, but that starts the hostility. That starts the resentment on both ends, because one feels like, well, I told you I didn't want nothing to do with it, and you're forcing me into this.
Right.
And her thing is, you're trying to force me out of something that we both participated in.
Right.
And here comes my resentment towards you. So is it easier for the man to say, you know what, bitch, I did not want this from the beginning, but you know what, we're going to work something out? Or is it easier for the woman to say, you know what, this nigga is already starting to get on my nerve. I can't see the next 18 years dealing with him. I might as well just go ahead with this procedure. That's where the dilemma comes in.
Well, that's always going to be the dilemma, because that's a line down the middle.
Right.
That's a line in the sand.
Right.
And you're going to have people on this side of the line, and you're going to have people on that side of the line. You're never going to have everybody on one side of that line. It's just not going to happen. Realistically talking, it's not going to happen.
I agree.
But
and that's not my motivation in saying that, is to try to find a kumbaya moment. I'm just saying that that's where some of the hostility begins.
Right. And listen, you know? and I understand. And you see, what you just explained is something that a man, with his 50% that he put into this, 100% cannot understand. 100%, we will never understand that. 100%, we cannot even begin to fathom the thought of going through what you guys go through. You understand? So when I said, and I made it clear in the beginning, I am pro-choice, I am pro, it's a woman's decision, it's a woman's body. I made sure I made that clear from the door. You know what I'm saying? And that is the reason why I feel that way, because at the end of the day, you are the ones who go through it. My whole point in bringing up what I brought up is, when a guy at this early stage tells you this, why would you still, even with everything that you said, even with everything that you felt, even with all of the stuff that you know that's going to happen with the 2 bedrooms and everything that you know, why would you still want to go through that with this person when this person is making it clear, like, yo, I thought it was just sex and I got caught up. I don't want to do this. Why would you still want to go through the rest of that?
Because your fear of what it potentially could lead to is not stronger than your love for your unborn child. There's no other way. There's no other way.
And that's where it's 100% the female.
That's where the disconnect comes, because it sounds cold and callous if a guy just tries to talk in a scientific term, in terms of just what it is. You know what? At this point, the baby's not a baby, and blah blah blah. Don't nobody want to hear that at that moment. I'll completely put that out there. Mm-hmm. Nobody who has had their own, revelations and their own thought process and their own emotional roller coaster want to hear from someone, well, it's not technically a baby. Don't be talking about my baby like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's already that thing. Unless her mind is also made up in agreement, then it's never going to sync emotion with logic. That's not going to happen. Let's just start there. And it's you on a man's side will never understand it the way we feel it.
Not even in the slightest. No matter how you explain it, we're still not going to understand it.
That's why it's so easy. And that's why it's kind of weird also for the people who are pushing forward this Roe v. Wade overturn are men, older men.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I think they had one
Which
woman.
I
I think there was one woman that was also on the side.
Right.
And I think there was also one black man as well that was
right. But the decisions made and voted on and put out there are put there by people who never ever will understand and who will never have to make that decision solely by themselves.
Right.
They can contribute to the decision.
Right.
They can put their input into the decision.
Right.
They could even voice their opinion on it.
Right.
They will never have the sole control of that happening.
Right.
And that's what it feels like they're trying to gain, the sole control of whether or not that happens. And that's where I feel like there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between what it is scientifically and how you feel emotionally, and the people making the decision on it shouldn't be the ones who don't get it.
Yeah, no. Glamazon said, you see that baby on the sonogram is even harder. That's a fact. And Melanated said, and then if she does go through with it, she has to think about how it would affect her afterwards as well. Yeah, I know. Meanwhile, the guy can just walk away yet again. I mean, but this is, hey, how you doing? But this is just the way that this is not our fault. This is the way God made it. You know, it's not our fault that we're not carrying these babies and we're not the one. We can't go through it. This is just, it's not us. This is the way God made it. So yeah, men can just walk away after it. And as a woman, you should want a dude to walk away after he tells you, yo, what? I don't want to have no baby with you. And then you still sleeping with him. You got issues.
You should walk.
Got issues
you should
too.
Walk away. Run that bread.
You know what I'm you see, there we go. Yeah.
Listen, baby needs shoes.
You know what I'm saying? But,
you can walk away.
But you know, yeah, of course. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna pay that bill $25 a week. That
and complain every
and
week.
complain like, yo, I gotta remember this shit. I didn't even want this. Yeah.
Complain every week.
Oh shit! Oh, but no. On a serious note, though, you know, I'm not for that at all. I think child support is a necessary thing. It should be, you know, like it is the woman's choice. It is the woman's choice. I think both people have to be really more careful about it. You know, I think people gonna need to have these conversations before you.
Ooh, let me ask you. I'm sorry to cut you off. What if you had to sign documentation?
But I mean, when you sign documentation,
listen, you ain't hear me. You didn't even know what documentation I'm talking about. What if a woman had to sign a document saying, I'm fully aware that he does not want to partake in raising this child. I'm assuming all responsibility.
Yeah, well, so then she's basically saying it's 100% her. So she can't look. I mean, if the dude wants
that
to,
would be crazy.
If the dude wants to, he does. But you know, and this is what I want to say. Like, I feel that all children need both parents. I honestly believe that.
As long as they're healthy,
yes.
functioning.
I'm not just saying together. I'm talking about even if they're separate. I feel all children need both parents. I feel all children, because there's things about themselves that is passed on through DNA that only the other parent could explain. I can't explain it. The mom has to explain it. The mom can't explain it. The dad has to explain it. This is just the nature of things. So I feel all children need both parents. With that being said, though, like you said, it has to be healthy. And sometimes because of those early situations where it's clear that this person didn't want it and this person did, or this person thought the person wanted it, and things got crazy, now the person doesn't want it, and you know they were dealing with each other before the child, so things are toxic. Sometimes it's best to keep them separate as well and leave it monetary and do your best job as a single mom or a single dad, because that other person could damage your child more than help your child. So it is situational. And, you know, like I said, people gonna have to start having these conversations. You about to have raw sex, make it clear, like, yo, nigga, you know if I get pregnant, we having a baby. Or, nigga, you know if I get pregnant, we not having a baby. I think people have to start making these things clear so both parties regardless of what stage you get to this 50% conversation, you understood from before it was 50% from the door. You knew where you was coming at from the door. Because we do get caught up in the moments and be like,
I was gonna say that's like the least romantic conversation.
I'm just saying though, this is conversations you gotta have before you get there though. You know, like, I mean, it's not about being romantic. So. It's about getting in the drawers.
Here's the thing: you would hope so. There are instances where everybody was in it for what they was in it for, and things happen. Like you said, not everything is this planned out, well sorted out plan or anything like that. But I think that men should be okay with women not being okay having abortions.
And the same way.
But not everyone is going to be like, okay, let me just go make an appointment and be thing. Like Melanated said, they could mentally be damaged after that. They could have, you know what I'm saying? Depression after that. There's a lot of things. Imagine you do something like that and then you see a baby. You're traumatized. Like, it brings back memories or what ifs, all those things. Like, it there's so many variables. So I feel like, I hope with this overturning, even though, like I said, I don't feel like it's going to affect that many people in regions that I'm familiar with, or I know of and stuff like that, because I really fuck with the blue states. Yeah. But I feel like, I hope that that's one thing that can be gained if we're going to find any kind of positive, is that people will be more cautious. People will be more forthcoming about things so that they don't find themselves in not only a sticky situation where needing to even have that conversation, but now going through illegal channels to, have it done and stuff like that. So it's like, you know what? Let me save myself a little headache, because it's not like a quick fix at all, especially where I live. Let me make sure I do the necessary things, and I'm gonna, get on this pill, get on this thing, whatever it is that I have to do on my end to not only find myself in a situation where I could be a single parent, but also I won't have to go making decisions about becoming a parent, period. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that some good.
Yeah, let me read some of these comments.
Please don't.
No, I kind of have to. No. All right. Yeah. Let me start here. Okay. All right. So Melanin said, all right, and then no, I read that already. East Coast said
she's sick in the head.
Yeah, East Coast said, now many females I know just wanted to have a child with me because of my hair texture. I never understood the logic, and clearly I said I didn't want any children with them. Oh my goodness. They were persistent, but I still stood my grounds as a real man. I hear you, bro. Melanated said, right, but that doesn't mean he has no responsibility when it comes to the baby. I mean, that's true too. And East Coast said that's basically what sperm banks are for. Oh my gosh. Melanated said, put a stick on your head. I'm pro-choice, so come with caution. Oh my gosh, yo. Then she says, I'm about to make panties with that. Oh my goodness. Okay, I just can't.
It's a good idea. I gotta heat.
Also, they're trying to stop contraceptives, so make sure y'all stock up. Yes, they are trying to stop contraceptives. I'm hearing a few Rite Aids already started minimizing their sales of Plan Bs and all of those.
First of all, if you need a bucket of Plan Bs, bitch, you got a problem.
Wait,
like,
what?
That's not even. That's a lot. Come on now. That's now people.
I mean, yo, look,
so
man,
far.
like,
I feel like that's more of a, they don't want people selling it on the black market for a profit and stuff like that. I don't think it's because anybody need 12 Plan Bs. Like, you gotta reevaluate your life if you need those personally for your personal use. Something's wrong with that.
Yo, there's people that's promiscuous outside, and those Plan Bs was like, yo, good luck.
Be careful with yourself.
I mean, those Plan Bs was like, good luck.
Yeah, but it's still your body and it's still your life. People act like AIDS evaporated. People act like, you know what I'm saying?
No, it
There
didn't.
are lifelong diseases that
Yes.
can be carried. There's all types of stuff that's still happening. So
Yes.
we're talking about pregnancy as one thing, but if you just on some plan B, that means you are getting your club shut up, and you really,
I mean, you're doing drive-bys with your drive-bys.
Just stop it. That's a bit much.
Yo, hey, listen, this is a judgment-free zone. Do what you want to do with your body. It's your body, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, be safe, you know, and
right.
that's
what I say. Hopefully people are just more cautious, more careful with themselves.
Yeah.
Forward. Like I said, not just for the abortion part, but just period.
Period, yes.
Yeah.
But hopefully with this whole everything, people do start having these conversations and start understanding, you know, before they find themselves in those situations. Yo, this is where the mindset is. This is where, you know, how I'm feeling about it, you know. But like Melanie said, yeah, those people that was raped and the people with incest and things like that, I feel sorry for those people, because they're gonna be the ones that have it the hardest with you know, trying to get help mentally, you know, because
right. Could you imagine just the mental part?
Yeah.
Now you got to deal with the evidence of it every
day.
That's crazy.
You know, those children that are produced from that, they're probably gonna have a hardship in their growing up with their parents and things like that. It's gonna create a whole generation in that space of toxicity. Like, it's gonna be horrible, you know. So, you know, people have these conversations. Ladies, walk with your knife and your mace, just in case, you know. Just in case you gotta, you know what I'm saying, put it on somebody for trying to get too frisky without permission.
Yeah.
And let's put a bow on this.
Yep. So we agree on some fundamental things. You went way left with some of your nonsense, but that's to be expected.
That's a her story say. I'm going to just let you continue.
Listen, there's a whole lot of her stories that'll agree with me in here anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly her stories in here, so it's all good. No, but go ahead.
Oh, Lord. Listen, now they ceiling tile people. I can't with Glamazon. Anyway, on my end, I understand the significance of the overturn. I'm an old lady, so it doesn't affect my personal life. At the moment, I do still have sympathy and empathy for women who have tough decisions to make regarding, you know, how they move forward with their lives, regardless of their situation. It's not to shame anybody, whether you are promiscuous, whether you are a victim of something, whatever your reasoning is your own reasoning. It's yours. And you should be afforded the liberty of making them based on whatever it is you decide to make it on, regardless of if some politician who lives in a neighborhood you don't live in, who never has to experience anything you have to subject yourself to based on the decision one way or another, is making for you. So I feel like it's bull. I think it's just another way of, you know, people trying to get control of you and limiting your freedoms and your liberties. But they sure, listen, let you try and touch their gun, though. They'll burn the whole.
I mean, they go through it right now with that as well.
Down. Right. They'll burn the country down. But, you know, they can tell you what to do with your body. It's just complete hypocrisy. So I'm praying for everyone, and I'm hoping for some kind of deliverance. This place is not real anymore to me. I swear.
I mean, we're living in
not a real place.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
One thing after the other. I feel like I never dealt with so many
I know.
life traumas.
Maybe we was just too young to even pay attention to it. I don't know.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But in what you're saying too, I agree with everything that you're saying. What I'm gonna say is this for the fellas, guys. You know, we can have babies until we die. You know, so start having a conversation, start seeing where these women heads is at before you start letting go in them. And instead of letting go in them, you know, in that area, you know, try to find different areas to let go in. You know, I'm just saying, you know, be safe out there. No, seriously, because this is a serious thing, and you know, you don't want to. It's not going to be trapped no more because this is the law. So it's going to be. It's what it is, and you knew what it was when you got yourself in there. So you can no longer blame the females. You know, you got to blame Congress itself, and they don't care. So, fellas, pay attention to what you're doing with your stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know,
you hear that, ladies?
Yeah.
Be like, it ain't me. Congress said.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I gave y'all an out, right? Shit.
Right.
No, but you know, fellas, seriously, on a serious note, we gotta be more mindful of you know, the females that we're actually going that length with, and don't get caught up in the moment and or the whispers in the ears. You know what I'm saying? Saying, yo, don't pull it out, just let it go. Because we fall for that too, fellas. You know, we're weak. We're weak in those moments. They know when they got us. You know, so we gotta start to stay.
Y'all mostly whisper it to yourself. What are you talking about?
we gotta stay strong, fellas. You know what I'm saying, and make sure we know where we spraying. You know what I'm saying, and that's a that's a his story. Don't shoot up the club. You know what I'm saying? Shoot up the basement. Oh man, that's another one of these conversations that we had. Very educational. We touched on a lot of good points.
Thank you for our one and only contributor.
Yeah, nah, yo, definitely, yo.
Why y'all playing shy? Y'all be having a lot to type.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. We appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, catch us every Thursday, 9 p.m. That's when we start. Next week we'll have another fun conversation, and you'll see the post and things like that. So this will be on YouTube sometime tomorrow. You guys check us out. Check out old videos if you haven't been up to date. And thank you guys. Peace.